Hi everybody, welcome back to Crick Tracker's special show in the air. My name is Nivedna Prabhu. We are here to be discussing yet another exciting series. Now moving on from that test series, which of course was leveled, we move on to the T20I series. Aaj khela jayega the first T20I between England and India at the Rose Bowl at the Southampton, and it's going to be starting at 10:30 p.m. IST, which means that the action और सब कुछ जो discussion होना है इस मैच के बारे में is just around the corner. हम भी काफी एक्साइटेड है देखने के लिए कि इस फर्स्ट T20I का क्या होगा. बहुत सारे क्रिकेटर्स ने अपने प्रिडिक्शन ऑलरेडी दे चुके हैं, बट व्हाट डज आवर क्रिकेट गेस्ट प्रत्यय तिवारी also have to say about this, and all of you as well. मुझे जरूर बताइए in the comments. On that very note, Pratyay, welcome back. We did have a word about the white ball series when we were wrapping up the fifth and final rescheduled test. Just to go into the momentum of today's particular first T20I, things have also changed for them in terms of the captaincy as well, considering Joss Butler will be at the helm of affairs. So what are we expecting from Team England? Then probably later on we'll come to India's aspect.
And I think we usually talk about momentum a lot, but if you look
Yes.
at the side that is going to take on India, it's absolutely different from what we saw. The faces have completely changed, and I mean, it's crazy scheduling. I mean, we've just not even gotten over with the test match, and now here we are with the white ball leg of the series. Crazy scheduling, absolutely, and India as well. I mean, if you look at their squad, you have an entirely different squad for the first T20Is. Plenty of players, the regular ones, not being a part of it. They will be coming in the second and third. And very correctly pointed out, I mean, it's the post Morgan era, and you will have to see how Joss Butler is going to take things forward. It's a great side. Of course, there are certain first choice players even England is missing out on. There's no Ben Stokes, there's no Johnny Bairstow. Adil Rashid is another player that is actually missing out. So there's plenty. I think that actually even things out on as far as both the teams are concerned. But yes, both these teams, I mean, if you look in the last 2 to 3 years, the rise of England in white ball cricket, and India has always been a dominant force whenever we talk about white ball cricket. So I think it's a cracker of a series for us to enjoy.
All right. In terms of talking about a cracker of a series, Rao Asif agrees with you. He says looking forward to cracker of a series between the top two ranked T20I sides. Joss Butler's first series as full-time captain, and he'll be up against his former Mumbai Indians captain. Very interesting to look at it, that way. I see a lot of mixed reactions coming about आज कौन जीतेगा. बहुत लोगों का ये कहना है कि इंग्लैंड जीतेगा आज. क्यों लगता है आपको कि इंग्लैंड जीतेगा? मुझे बताइए in the comment section below. Now talking about this particular exciting contest, काफी exciting चीजें भी होती है, right from player battles to milestones. हम सब discuss करेंगे आज के मैच के बारे में. But if you have predictions, like I said, put that. If you have questions also to ask in terms of what the combination will be like, will there be some debuts for Team India? वो भी काफी interesting point होगा देखने के लिए. You can ask all of that to Pratyay if you have any questions in the comment section. Talking about that, we'll move on to something super interesting, which is approaching milestones as well. If you could take a look as to what the approaching milestones in this particular match are. Moeen Ali is one match away from appearing in 50 T20Is. Joss Butler needs 3 fours to surpass Owen Morgan and become England's okay, we kind of missed that. Okay, Hardik Pandya is 3 fours away from reaching 54s in the shortest international format. Jason Roy is 1 4 away from completing 154s in T20Is. And Bhuvaneshwar Kumar needs 2 scalps to surpass Jasprit Bumrah and become the second highest wicket taker for India in the T20I. So approaching milestones काफी interesting है. Like we always say that I'm pretty sure they don't look at it that way. But one takeaway from that is Moeen Ali's 50 international appearances in T20. काफी interesting होगा. He's also one of those players who can definitely add value to the side of England. Looking at him in T20 format, अभी काफी exciting होगा because now we're also become used to him seeing him in the IPL contribute with the bat and ball on and off. But talking about momentum, because he has of course gone into that hole of deciding whether he wants to come out from retirement for the test format. But looking at Moeen Ali in the T20 format, would he be the player to watch out for?
Definitely. I mean, whenever he is around, I mean, he's a top quality all-rounder and world cricket going around. Can play the floater. We have seen him doing for CSK. He's someone who is very flexible with his batting positions. He can come down the order, can act as a pinch hitter. He can bat at number 3 as well. And with the ball, he is an absolute asset as well. So I think he's one of the more most interesting players that England has at the moment. And as I said, that given the fact that there was a lot of Test cricket, England is just coming after the summer, and you do not have Stokes and Bairstow, so it kind of becomes more important for him because he is now also one of the most senior players in the side. Yes, of course, his Test comeback is looming large, and it's a great news. I mean, we all somewhere down the line felt that his retirement was pretty premature. So it's a good news for all cricket fans to see him back. But his white ball credentials are absolutely proven at every level, and I think that he is definitely going to play a part in the series. More so, as I said, that in the absence of Adil Rashid, his I mean, they these two players have also formed a good sort of a spin twin partnership between themselves, off spin leg spin combination. So with him out, there will be plenty more responsibility on Moeen Ali as well. And I think even if a lot of players from the England ranks are missing, you still see that this side has got great potential. Some young players that you would be interested to watch out for. There's Harry Brook, even for that matter. In Adil Rashid's absence, this is a great chance for someone like a Matt Parkinson to solidify his spot in this, because again, I mean, as focus shifts from red ball to white ball, you are again looking down at that October-November window with the World Cup coming in Australia. So all these teams now are increasingly looking towards finalizing their combinations. And with the one particular thing that we know about India and England, there's always a problem of plenty. I mean, look at the number of players that are competing for the spots. It's absolutely mind-boggling. So I think every single game that these teams are now going to play, it's very important for every player to just give their best and try to book a berth, because there are only 11 who will be on. There will be around 15, 16 who will be on the flight, and only 11 are going to play. So these are great opportunities for all of them.
Going to be a contest on the field and off the field. दूसरी contest हो रही है to find out कि ultimately who is going to take that flight to Australia. But also it means that the competition and the talent on both sides is pretty fantastic. But talking about competition and what we can expect from today's match in terms of the toss update, India have won the toss and have opted to bat. This is probably something that we would have expected them to take. Now, with the fact that they would probably look to have their bowlers at the end of the day also do a job later on. But talking about the batters, if we also have some players to watch out for in this particular match, if you could take a look at that, and then we'll get talking a little further about today's playing 11 as well in a couple of minutes. Joss Butler in T20I, 2,140 runs. His average has been 34 and his highest has been 101. Do we have any more players to look forward to? Okay, Ishan Kishan, 524 runs in 17 innings and his highest score being 89. Deepak Huda, 172 runs in 3 innings and his highest being 104. I see a lot of people talking about mixed reactions कि क्या होगा आज के clash में. Continue telling me कि क्या predictions है, then we'll find out who is right, who is wrong. Toss कौन जीता is what Ankit Chaudhary is asking us. Well, India ने toss जीता है and they've opted to bat. Now looking at those three names that we did on our screens, Pratyay, अगर Deepak Huda of course has also been in phenomenal form जो हमने देखा Island series में. Ishan Kishan as well did not have a great IPL, but he looked completely different in the Island series. But Joss Butler के बारे में थोड़े बात करेंगे. He was phenomenal in IPL, but अभी हमने देखा है कि कैप्टेंसी भी थोड़ा मतलब प्रेशर डाल सकता है on your individual performance as well. तो दोनों कैप्टन्स के बारे में थोड़ा बात करेंगे before we dive into everything to do with the playing 11.
Yes, I think captaincy will change a little bit of things at Josh Butler's end, because he has stood in for Morgan quite a few times, around 14, 15 times when he was not available. He was the one that England would go to. So it was not kind of surprising that England actually immediately named him as the captain. He was the vice captain as well. So he was, of course, in the leadership scheme of things. But now that he has been given the role full time, now there is more clarity for him. Now he is the one who has to take that legacy forward. Because if you talk about Owen Morgan, the captain, he was absolutely one of the finest tacticians you will ever come across in the game of cricket. His personal form aside, I mean, the last couple of years, his last year or so, it was not the best of him as the batter, because we saw him struggling in the IPL as well. And even in the recent past, he did not get to score those many runs to everyone's liking. But his captaincy was absolutely top notch at every level that you speak about. So he has, I mean, Josh Butler has big boots to fill. And I think captaincy or not captaincy aside, I think the batter, Josh Butler, the kind of form that he has been in, if you recall the IPL, I mean, chart-topping season, orange cap winner, constantly, dominated sides and pulled bowlers like no one else. I mean, 3 or 4 centuries in a season, it's not a mean feat. And I think
Yeah.
that form even translated into the Netherlands ODIs that we saw. I mean, in England almost ended up scoring half a thousand runs. I mean, their white ball style of play. Now we've seen that the baseball in Test cricket, but in white ball they have always been like that. They've always been on the pedal. They've always been on the accelerator. Rohit Sharma, it's great to have him back as well because he has been, it's his form has been a concern. I mean, as much as we hate to admit it, but he did not have the best of IPLs with the bat as the leader of Mumbai Indians as well, because we saw how quickly Mumbai Indians escalated down, and matters just went out of their hand. Losing 8 9 games on the trot, it never really bodes down too well if you are the captain who is going to lead a country as big as India on the world level. So I think it's a good sort of a chance for him as well. But yes, there has to be slight bit of caution, because when you talk about England and Australia, where the World Cup would be played, the situations are going to be drastically different. But I think these matches in the build up to the World Cup, it's a great time for Rohit Sharma to get back amongst the form, because when he gets going and when he is in form, India starts to look like a different team altogether. So I think this is a great opportunity for him as well.
Right, and I think in terms of both the captains, they look forward to winning this one or starting on a great note. But like Pratyay has said, it is high time also that senior players step up. Even though Rohit Sharma is now the captain, you would expect him to contribute with the bat, and not just in terms of probably getting wins for Team India. Dusri taraf, we're also going to be talking about what both the captains have said quickly, just to summarize ki toss ke time pe unhone kya bola hai. Rohit Sharma has said we're going to bat first. Looks like a good wicket, good pitch. Sun is out. Better to bat first. Recovered pretty well since, of course, he was battling with COVID. Had a couple of hits before getting into this game. He's also spoken a little bit about the fact that Arshdeep will be playing today. Finally, for everybody who's waiting for this moment, that he looked well. He was good in the IPL, and which is why they would like to get in an interesting prospect like him. Dusri taraf, we're going to quickly take a look at. The playing 11 is in a bit, but before that, let me just talk about what Joss Butler has said. He says very proud day captaining for his own country. Owen has left the team in a great place. The test team has been fantastic watch. Hopefully we can ride that momentum. Gleason, Willie and Salt miss out. We have a couple of all-rounders. Okay, now what are the combinations they've gone with? We'll see that in a bit on our screens, but let's dive into players battle to find out what are these interesting player battles going to be looking like in this particular clash, and then we'll come around to the playing 11. Butler versus Bhuvi, 3 outs, where Butler has managed to score 28 runs against the bowler. We probably might have Chris Jordan and Hardik Pandya as well. There you go, 69 runs, and he has got him out on one occasion. Roy versus Chahal. This is yet another fascinating player battle. 87 runs, and Chahal has got him out on 2 occasions. All right, a lot of comments are coming in the comment section, so probably we'll have to do justice to that before getting on talking about the playing 11. बहुत सारे questions है Sanju Samson के बारे में. Where is Sanju? This is injustice. Sanju had selected for the first game only and not being selected. This is pure injustice. How do we look at this? I think कि बहुत बार हम बोल चुके हैं कि Sanju Samson, and his, opting in, मतलब them going with him as a player. What really is happening there? Is it also because the competition is a lot more, so some people just unfortunately are not getting that chance at this moment?
Absolutely, Nivedna. I mean, if at this point in time, if you actually just take a look at the squad, your
Yeah.
head starts to ache, because there are so many players. You really are unable to identify combinations, and it becomes difficult because we are glad that we are not Indian selectors and not a part of the team management, because these calls are harsh to take. And Sanju Samson, of course, I mean, he played well in the Ireland series, has been in and out. I think one thing that has been a problem with him has been that, I mean, there's no questioning Sanju Samson's talent, but the thing is that he has lacked consistency. But for that as well, I think that given how he has been given a run, because when you pick a player for one series, then you drop him in another, then you pick him for another game, and then you do not give him that, it does not augur well for his confidence as well. Because no matter, even if these are international players, you want to see yourself getting backed. You would rather be outside the team than to be picked and being asked to bench
Yeah.
and sitting on the bench. So I think that yes, it would be a little disappointing, because I think Sanju Samson is one of those players. I mean, he brings in a lot. I mean, on his day when he is on song, there is no bowler who would be able to kind of endure his wrath. And the fact that he gives you, he's a gun fielder, he can keep wickets. If he's not keeping, he's a great fielder as well. So he is someone who brings in a lot to the table. And now, having seen him, I mean, the way he led the Rajasthan Royals
Yeah.
to the IPL finale this year. So he has got those leadership instincts as well. So now perhaps you are starting to look at Sanju Samson in a lot more many ways than probably you would have looked at him a couple of years ago. So I think that yes, it is disappointing indeed, but you really cannot blame anyone, because at the moment, it's, I mean, as I said, that only 11 get a chance to play. You perhaps have 33 fighting for those 11 spots. So someone or the else has to miss out. So I think it's just unfortunate for Sanju. But I think that going into the World Cup, whatever chances are going to come his way, because we've seen him getting the backing of the management, but too many times, whenever he has gotten the chance against Sri Lanka, against New Zealand, in the recent years as well, you have seen that one innings from his bat would come, but then suddenly, he would go out of form. So he has to be consistent at this level. Otherwise, finding a space in this team is going to be absolutely impossible.
All right, the debate, of course, still continues, saying that if you're talking about consistency, then Arshdeep was not selected due to his was selected due to his performance in IPL. Why is Sanju not selected? But Pratyay has tried doing his best of answering this, but ultimately it's the captain and selectors who could really dive into why Samson is not getting these kind of opportunities. Because at the end of the day, the point is pretty clear that if you're looking on the basis only of performances, and there's no surprises for guessing that he should actually be on the team. Now, what is the theory behind that? Probably only the captain and the coach would be in a better situation to kind of give a statement regarding this. But what we definitely know is, let's find out. Everybody's talking about this match on social tracker, and before we wrap up, we'll get to the playing 11. So let's take a quick look at what the social tracker is looking like and what everybody is tweeting about in terms of today's particular clash. Wasim Jafar saying his playing 11 for tonight: Rohit, Ishan, Huda, Sky, Hardik, Kartik, Harshal, Bhuvi, Avesh, Chahal, Bishnoi. What's yours? Okay, there's a little bit of a difference in what Jafar was expecting and what has happened. We'll come to that. Chennai Super King saying start the whistles for the Southampton show. And okay. And it's also on a very interesting day. Royal Challengers Bangalore saying a new challenge awaits Team India at the Rose Bowl at the T20I series against England begins. Let's get the wheels rolling. The hitman is back to set the 22 yards on, is what Mumbai Indians has tweeted. Let's get started, Paltan. And Crick Tracker has said Ishan Sharma picks Rohit Sharma and AB de Villiers as his best T20I and T20 batters. All right, now who is everybody's favorite T20I batter? Mujhe bataiye in the comment section. Until that, I will get going with the playing 11 for both the teams, and we'll find out what the combinations are looking like. For England first, Jason Roy, Joss Butler, who comes in as the full-time captain. First assignment for him: David Malan, Moeen Ali, Liam Livingstone, Harry Brooks, Sam Curran, Chris Jordan, Tyler Mills, Reece Topley, and Matthew Parkinson. Dusri taraf, India have gone for Rohit Sharma as captain, Ishan Kishan, Deepak Huda, Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Dinesh Karthik, Akshar Patel, Harshal Patel, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Arshdeep Singh, and Yuzvendra Chahal. Now, some of the names, as predicted for both the sides, were going into that combination. But one name that I think everybody's very happy to see this young lad get this opportunity is Arshdeep Singh. So before wrapping up, a little bit about him, what we can expect from him in terms of performing for Team India now. That pressure is also, a little more different. But what are we expecting from him at a place like Southampton, looking at the conditions? Good time to give him a chance.
Absolutely, yes. I think I personally felt that he could have been given a chance against Ireland as well. But again, because of the combinations and this team, this management has constantly shown that. We saw that in the South Africa series. We kept on speculating that there would be a change, but India ended up playing all five T20Is with the same 11. So I think
Yeah.
that there has been backing. Any player who has been given a chance has been given a good run. And specifically for Arshdeep, I mean, a great bowler. I mean, very, very crafty. We saw him, I mean, a couple of years in the IPL. Before that, at the under 19 level, he has performed there as well. Someone who has got a lot of variation. He is a brilliant death bowler. I mean, only second to Jasprit Bumrah in the last year, in this year's IPL. And we saw, I mean, he was not amongst that much in the wickets column, perhaps not striking as much, but the way the mannerisms in with which he bowls, and the way he manages to control the flow of runs at the death, that absolutely makes him a hot pick. So I think this is a great chance. And what is more interesting is that if you look at the build up to this particular series, England went against Netherlands. India is coming after playing against Ireland. With due respect to both the sides, they are not one of the most competitive teams. But when you compare that to England and India, so this is now actually a match of two quality sides who are in this terms of skills, who are equivalent, who are, in terms of quality, who are equivalent. So this actually is going to be a great test for Arshdeep Singh's character as well, because if he has to be on that flight to Australia, he has not got very long time ahead of him. And given the fact that he has, I mean, we have seen that players have been backed, so he can definitely expect himself to get some games. But I mean, having seen him at the IPL, I'm expecting him to emulate that similar form against England as well today.
All right, and on that very note, the fact that, of course, Pratyay has told us what he's expecting from Arshdeep Singh, I'm very sure that Team India fans are also expecting him to grab a couple of wickets. But this game gets a lot more interesting. Also, with the fact that the time difference is starting at 10:30 p.m. IST, so unfortunately, we won't be able to join all of you in the post-match analysis of today. But we will be joining you for every particular match in the pre-match show. But if you want to know the result of what happened, who are the best performers, then don't worry. Crick Tracker's website and social media team has still got you covered. So they will be posting everything to do with the particular match. So if you are not following us there, go ahead and follow us everywhere, including our Telegram channel if you're interested in fantasy cricket. On that very note, want to thank everybody. I see a huge section saying that England is going to win. चलिए देखते हैं कि वो होगा या नहीं, बट उसी बात पे प्रत्येक को भी थैंक यू कहना चाहती हूँ कि ही इज कमिंग टू आवर स्टूडियोज टू बी शेयरिंग हिज ओपिनियन एंड ऑल ऑफ यू इज वेल. लाइक आई सेड, until we see you next time, of course, take care of yourselves and of course stay tuned to Crick Tracker for everything related to the world of cricket.